Minister, if a third-party auditor flags that there's fraud on a particular procurement file and recommends that it be referred to the RCMP, what should the government do in that case? Another fairly easy question, I think.
What it should do is that exactly what you're probably also thinking is that it should take those allegations very seriously and expect and demand that public service, independently of political interference, do the job that they need to do.
And what is that job? If an independent auditor says there's fraud, we think it should be referred to the RCMP, the public service should then refer it to the RCMP, right?
Yeah, well, the public service
should they?
is a big, not every
Sir,
public servant.
we're still on the easy stuff. If a third-party auditor says that hypothetically a procurement file involving the Canadian Healthcare Agency involved fraud, and that third-party auditor says it in a meeting with multiple public servants from multiple departments, saying we think it involves fraud, we think it should be referred to the RCMP. Should they take it seriously and refer it to the RCMP, or should they take it seriously and try to bury it? What would you suggest?
Well, you spoke about hypothetical, and hypothetical cases are not truly useful cases to discuss in such general terms. I think you need to be more specific as to what exactly you have in mind.
Okay, I have in mind the case this committee heard about this week from Gary Hartle, who was an independent auditor who brought a room full of public servants evidence of Indigenous identity fraud on the government years ago, and recommended that the case be referred to the RCMP. The government decided, in his words, they didn't want any trouble and decided to bury it instead of referring it to the RCMP. Do you think that was a good idea or a bad idea?
Well, MP Janu, this is a great question, which I heard you ask.
And I look forward to a great answer.
Exactly just a few days ago to Minister Aidu, and she provided all the answers that you were correctly expecting of her, because it's in her file, it's her department. Do you know that? Because you asked her directly those same questions.
PSBC officials were in the room, sir. Your officials were in the room. I think at a basic level, in terms of setting the tone, now would be a good time for you to advise your officials and the public that when they become aware of instances of fraud, they should refer that fraud to the RCMP. And you seem unwilling to say that.
Je peux le dire en français si en anglais ça fonctionne moins bien. Mais
I can say it in French if it's not working into English. We had a meeting where you were present, Mr. Genois, with Minister Aidu, and you asked exactly the same question, and she provided you with the proper responses. So if you want to have a conversation with Ms. Ailu, you can do that. But you had that conversation a few months ago.
I welcome you. Neither. C'est une question très simple. Si c'est une...
It's a really simple question. So if it's a case of fraud,
and since your officials were in the room, should they have given that information to the RCMP or buried it? And I wonder, frankly, how many other cases are there? But can you just clearly tell your officials and the public that instances of fraud, when officials become aware of them, should be referred to the RCMP? Yes or no?
répondu à cette question à plusieurs reprises.
I've already addressed the question on several occasions, Mr. Alois, and Ms. Naidu addressed the question on several occasions as well. The same question a few days ago. I think maybe you just have to return and see what her response was, and it'll be easy to understand.